Welcome to WGTV, episode 80. I'm your host Adam, and I'm going to bring you a game of Age of Sigmar 2000 points from the General's Handbook 2023 through to 2024. If this is your first time to the show, I hope you enjoy it, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, even check out the website. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you. It really means a lot. And of course, if you're one of my patrons, one of my Wargorians, what could I do without you? You're amazing, and carry on being awesome. Thank you. On with the show. So tonight's battle is between the Idoneth Deepkin and the Kharadron Overlords. Leading the Deepkin is the magnificent Adam. Say hello, Adam. Now that you put your
Hello, everyone.
There we go. And on my left, leading the fleet in my absence, is Craig.
Hello there.
There we go. Well, that wasn't creepy. No hat at all. Yeah, that's it.
I don't have a hat yet.
Right. But before we get to find out a little bit more about their armies and maybe what they're going to do with them, we need to find out what scenario we're going to be playing. And there is only one that can tell us. Now, some say that when he walks into a room, the light doesn't come on, the darkness runs away. All we know is he's called the Cleric.
Fountains of frost. Sometimes the prize proves just as dangerous as the enemy. Seas, Andors, geysers of pure magic, or freeze your warriors solid trying. Andorian Locust units count as 10 models for the purposes of contesting objectives. At the start of each battle shock phase, roll a dice for each objective that is contested by 3 or more units. On a 4-up, each unit contesting that objective suffers D3 mortal wounds. You score in this mission as such. Score 1 victory point for 1 objective. Score another for 2, and a third for more objectives. Score 2 victory points for completing your battle tactic. Aww.
Welcome to the city of Atlantis. Let me take you under the sea. And here we start with the Eidolon of the Sea, my general, the captain, or as they call him on the boats, captain. And he is the magic-y Eidolon. He has the spell Steed of Tides and the command trait Endless Sea Storm to help him generate more spells. Moving over to his little pet, Donatello, my Leviathan, who will be shooting lots of harpoons and munching on lots of dwarves, hopefully. And then my other pet in the list is Sharky, who is the aspect of the storm, so he is an Eidolon as well, and he'll be sitting in because he's a cool model for my Eidolon of the Storm. Moving to the battle line, we have 1, 2, 3 units of Reavers, 3 units of 10. Some Reavers there guesting because I felt you'd rather watch painted models than unpainted ones, basically. And then we have 2 Soul Renders and a unit of Thralls in front, who Soul Renders basically in charge of bringing back the Namarti, since I am in Mor'phann, so D3 plus 3 Namarti back for each Soul Render each turn. And then to the front, Mr. Slappy himself, the Akhelian King, who'll be leading the charge and making it high tide out of turn, hopefully.
Well, dear viewers, welcome to Barak Ziflin. The Kharadron Overlords are here to fight. So, first off, we have our general, the trusty admiral, leading the pack as ever. He has the command trait of X Grundstock, which makes my Grundstock units battle line. More on them in a moment. We then follow through with the Navigator, keeping magic winds at bay and providing a little direction for the fleet. And just behind him, the Endrin Master in dirigible suit. He also comes with a Phosphex bomblets. Just a nice little trick to keep some opponent burning away in the background. Then we're going to move on to our Endrin riggers on the right. Unit of 6. Reinforced once, but as battle line. And they're going to sit in the boat that's directly behind them, the gun hauler, for it has taken the collapsible compartments. Then we're moving down to our unit of 10 Thunderers. They come with everything in every way. Banners, guns, cannons, fumigators, you name it, it's got it. And they're going to be sitting in the frigate. Now, thanks to Barak Zilflin, it's not only battle line, but I can take an additional great engine work. So we've taken the prudency shoots on the off chance the Thunderers need to get out and start beating people with the guns. However, although it looks like we're complete here, we're going to take a very sharp pan here over to Gotrek. He is joined for the fight, as it were. Let's see if he can smash a few heads in two.
Welcome to Idoneth Deepkin turn 1. We've trickled forward and started the project of basically against Kharadron. I kind of feel like the tactics need to be to try and control the middle of the table, so that's what we set out with an idea to do. But I get ahead of myself. We started by rolling primal dice, and we both got 1, so 2 primal dice each. And with that, I knew that Craig had potentially a wizard in range because he was going to make Gotrek into a wizard. So I decided not to do dominance, but to do intimidate invaders, since I was kind of going forward anyway.
And I'm not intimidated at all.
So we thought, right, well, we'll buff ourselves up with magic and then we'll be even stronger when we're controlling the middle of the table and being all intimidating. So I thought, well, a very intimidating thing would be to teleport an angry little seahorse into his deployment zone and charge something. So I cast Steed of Tides onto the Akhelian King, cast it on a 10. I thought, I don't need primal for that. Flex. Craig used both of his primal dice.
But you didn't get the spell now, did you?
Didn't get the spell. So I thought, fine, I'll cast Mystic Shield. Rolled a 4. It's all right, I've got an inbuilt reroll. Rolled a 3. So suddenly, rather than me intimidating Craig, my dice are intimidating me. But yes, so we thought, okay, there's nothing left for it. We will trickle forward, as is my wont. The Donatello the turtle got in range of Gotrek, and he fired off his harpoons at him. Did 5, count them, 5 wounds. How many wounds did Gotrek take?
Just the one.
Just the one. That's from D3 damage, which of course Gotrek ignores for some reason. Sorry, yes. So finish on 4 points for holding 1, 2, but not more, and intimidating terribly, dreadfully.
Well, dear viewers, or ahoy my Hades.
Just look at him, he's engaged smug mode, hasn't he?
Yes, I very much have. So, first order of business, someone shot me. Gotrek was hurt. So, heroic recovery. 1 wound saved. Then we can get on with the rest of the turn.
Hang on a minute, I thought he wasn't a hero.
He's a hero but not a leader. You've been asking this the whole game, really. Why is he like he is? I don't know either. So, we went for our first battle tactic was opening salvo. We rolled for priority dice. For the primal dice, sorry. We got 1 each again. And then you rolled for a command point. Did Sharky get his command point?
No, he didn't this time.
So we proceeded to read the winds. We inflicted 3d3 units worth of mortal wounds. Sounds a lot worse than it is. So, Donatello the turtle
took 3.
Took 3 mortal wounds. The Akhelian King took 3 mortal wounds. And I believe it's a Soul Render?
Yep.
Took 2 mortal wounds.
Not a ward save between them.
We then decided the damned terrain should be put to good use to make the frigate +1 to hit. It suffered 2 wounds for its consequences, but at the time I was sat next to some engine riggers who promptly at the end of the hero phase healed all the wounds. Familiar pattern, you can see here, viewers. We went into our movement phase. Engine Master.
Have you mentioned your battle tactic? Because that was another familiar pattern.
The opening salvo, yes. Gotrek. We took the auto 6 on Gotrek and he ran up the field. The gun hauler activated its boosters and went for a flanking manoeuvre. And then it's Kharadron Overlords, and it wouldn't be the same without fly high. So the frigate flew high, being it's also the flagship's personal ship. And we landed over on the far side. Then we engaged our guns. So, the unit across here was the closest. They got shot up by the Thunderers, and they've been very quickly deleted, just like we do. The Engine Master decided to put his Phosphite Bomblets onto a second unit of Reavers. Managed to take 4 out, and then over here, the Namati Thralls. They were shot at with a combined force of Engine Riggers and the Gun Hauler. We then went into our charge phase. We charged in the Engine Master. Now at that point there was only 4 models left. Shouldn't have been too difficult for me to deal with. I have D3 damage. It's only 3 attacks, but should be fine to do. Only 1 got through in the end. So 1 died. But it's okay, there's 3 left. I can deal with this. Didn't charge anyone else in.
There's more than 3 left though, isn't there, Craig?
Yeah, so at the end of your Battle Shock phase, you bring models back and one of your best rolls of the game, actually.
Yes.
Rolls a 6, brings 6 models back. Unfortunately, though, it was a choice between...
It's Mor'phann, so it's D3 plus 3. So I did roll a 6, but it was 3 plus 3.
So a choice between the Reavers and the Fools to get Inspiring Presence. You chose the Reavers. Probably chose correctly at that point. But following that, I'm unable to take that far objective. So it leaves me 1, 2, not more. My battle tactic completed. So it's quite tight 4 by 4. However, the role you've been dreading...
WGTV. Yes. Sploosh. Well, the sea was calm and the sea is now raging. So we have hit turn 2 where I run and charge, so sploosh indeed. And what we thought was, if we're going to have a little hero there, thinking that he's all that, coming and picking on my Namarti, well then what we'll do is revenge of the Namarti. And we'll try and kill him with a Namarti.
Finest hour!
Finest hour indeed. Finest hour standing on terrain with all-out defence meant that he was 2-ups anyway, but this was the revenge of the Namarti, so we'll see what happened. Anyway, back to the hero phase. Did the battle side, so we got 1 primal dice out of our 2 rolls, and I managed to get Mystic Shield off. Look how beautiful it is. When we roll for it, it actually works, and it's also burned Craig's primal dice in a failed unbind, so we managed to get it off. And then we also got Cloying Sea Mists off to heal the wounds that he'd done to himself. With that and a heroic recovery, he was back to full. We failed Tsunami of Terror because I really wanted to make Gotrek -1 to his save, but alas no. So yeah, we went into movement, and I don't know, for better or worse, we have split the army. So Donny and his boys have come this way, and along with the general. And Sharky and Angelina is what I call the Akhelian King, because every time I type Akhelian into my phone, it autocorrects to Angelina. So he is a he, but he is Angelina. So they came this way to duff up a boat. Donny came this way at half movement. He managed to make I did a command point 6-inch run to get him over here. But everything ended up having to shoot at whatever that guy was.
The Endrin Master in Dirigible suit.
The Endrin Master in dribble suit.
He did dribble a bit after the amount of ones I rolled for his saves.
But we went Reavers, then Donny, and then the Reavers that are in this boat all shot at him, and eventually there was just enough to take him off, even with his disgusting 2-up save. We made some charges over there, as you can see. You might be thinking, but Adam, there's still a boat there. Aye, but it's an empty boat because all those weird bubble guys inside are now shark food. As Sharky swung his spear, and then Angelina, bless him, managed to get his spear, sort of rattle it around inside the boat, and all these bubble guys started ducking and weaving. So with a -3 damage weapon, Craig saved everything, and
5 up for the win.
This lovely Daughters of Cain army almost got a uppercut to the face, but yes, we managed to finish it off with the beast, and so that leaves us with 8 points for still holding my 3 objectives, and we did manage to kill Dribble Suit Man with Namarti for the revenge of the Namarti. So we're holding up our 4 points a turn so far. However, it is KO turn 2 now.
Well then, dear viewers, it's been a spectacular turn for me this turn. As you can see, we've increased the amount of smug by about 20%. It's getting better. So, battle tactic this turn, intimidate the invaders. Primal dice rolled. Only Adam got one. I did not. Heroic action. We tried for command point and Gotrek. I wanted to make a charge of him this turn. He didn't listen. So no there. You went for a command point as well. And your general. And he didn't listen either. Apparently we have enough command points. So, movement phase. We went first in moving Gotrek up. Nice 4 inches. We had disengage from the gun hauler onto the objective. She's now unguarded by the Idoneth forces. And then we did a really sneaky thing where we dropped some bombs on some Reavers for killing our Endrin Master. So we moved 4 of them straight to begin with. They were over here, so we jumped back in, jumped off, the bombs dropped. We go to shooting phase. The gun hauler at this point had to shoot George. But if Gotrek was to make the charge, George had to be there. So the gun hauler didn't shoot. Just over here then, we had the Admiral and the Navigator shooting to the Reavers to try and thin them out enough that I could get the ship and the Thunderers into the Turtle. But alas, the Reavers holding on, so the Thunderers had to wait their turn as the frigate dealt with the Reavers. So when the Reavers are gone, now the Leviathan is the closest target. The Thunderers let rip. However, it's really good armour, that shell, and only took a couple of wounds off. Then we made a play that no one saw coming, especially me. The frigate charged. Charged in, did 4 mortal wounds thanks to the assault boat ability. No one got out. We're not trying that yet. And then we had Gotrek charge. He needed a 9. And he rolled a 9. And George looked on. You can see where George is. Or should I say, is not. Keep looking. You will not find him.
He's over here.
However,
he's here.
Before George perished, he did cause a wound to Gotrek. So I will applaud him on that.
Bloodied his nose. Silly little dwarf.
I've got short legs. I've got to run everywhere. Back over at the Leviathan versus the frigate, we went in with the Admiral first. He'd been roared. Couldn't use all that attack. Did kind of need it, really. Bounced off the shell. We went in with the Thunderers and the Navigator too. He swung back, taking 2 of the Thunderers out, though. But I've caused enough wounds to bracket him enough. So he's got only a few wounds left to go before he hits his 16. Went in with the Fumigators to try and do mortal wounds at the end of combat. 1 wasn't enough. However, thanks to that pesky little gun hauler, takes the more objectives. Gives me the full 5. Intimidate. I have nothing in my deployment zone. It's all out. So 1, 2 more. Battle tactic. 9 plays 8. Trying for that double turn again.
WGTV. Oh, it's there. Look at that. Craig is 6 more than 5.
I could do the maths.
I'm trying to outsmug him, you see. We'll be taking it at high tide.
Sorry.
Idoneth Deepkin turn 3, high tide, sploosh, etc. Have I ever told you that I hate Warhammer?
Start from the top.
We brought some primal, I can't remember whether we got any. Finest hour Sharky. Finest hour, right. Finest hour. So yeah, we did that. We decided to go for Assassins of the High Tide because it's the High Tide. And you know what you have to do in the High Tide when you have to assassinate things? You have to kill 2 units. Two. That's 1 more than 1. interestingly enough. So, Sharky and his buddy Angelina, they held up their end of the bargain. They came back here to, thought, this ship, retreat from me, will you? Retreat from me. So they came round back this way. I'm missing the hero phase. Not a lot happened in it, though, to be honest.
You did get the Steed of Tides off to
I did get the Steed of Tides.
This Soulbender all the way down here.
George's brother over there is sitting on there. Not a lot else happened because things got dispelled and I didn't roll high enough to get bonus casts and things. So Steed of Tides was the main thing to take that objective. So I was happy at that point. I remember when I was happy. Into movement and things. Obviously, Sharky and Angelina came this way, duffed up a boat, and we thought, great, all we've got to do is kill one other unit. The shooting phase had been spent really just trying to whittle down the boat. And this is where my misery began, because the Reavers did okay. They did about 5 wounds to it, I think.
About four or 5 wounds.
4 or 5 wounds.
And you had Tsunami of Terror on both the boat and the Navigator inside.
Yeah, now that does only affect combat, but I did have Tsunami of Terror on those two. The old captain here, my general, my faithful leader, my trusty leader, he decided to start the avalanche of awfulness by just not doing anything with his shooting attacks.
Of which he didn't get many of them to begin with.
No, he didn't. And then Donatello went, oh, right, that's how we're doing it, is it? And basically
they were led by example.
So we went into combat. Obviously, these boys, brilliant, over there, fantastic. We've talked about them. I've mentioned it 3 times because it's the only good thing about this turn. Because what followed was...
An omen of things to come as well.
Absolute avalanche of wands as the general went, right, Donny, I'll show you how this is done, and just missed with everything. I think 1 fish got through.
1 fish got through.
Which is 4 up, no rend, 1 damage. That's it.
He did roll a double 1 to charge initially as well.
He did. He had to re-roll his charge. Christ. And so Donatello, because he's a bit thick, is Donny, he's like, oh, that's how it's done. So he lined up with all of his damage 4 and damage 3 flippers and stuff. And I think literally did nothing.
He flapped into the wind would be the best way to describe this.
1 wound from the weakest weapon, I think, got through. And that's all. So, yeah, there was a guy who was a sitting duck inside who was sitting on 3 wounds left going, oh, right. Okay, cool.
And then to add insult to injury, Donatello finally was laid low by a small metallic bird.
So, yeah. We scored 2 points, though.
2 is greater than 0. And 1, as you said.
You can hear the percentage of smug has gone over 100 by now. So yeah,
I'm going to need like some smug batteries to hold on to all this.
Overlords turn 3 and then, let's face it, probably conclusion.
Pretty good placement up here now. Definitely lots of smug. So
the smug's gone up to 11.
I thought it'd surpass that. So battle tactic, a little bit tricky because started to run out of options now, given as well I was stuck in combat with an Eidolon. But we went for boots on the ground. Get my 3 units in the frigate out in his deployment. Doable, but had to be a bit careful of charges and shooting people later. But anyway, we rolled for primal. Adam got 1 that I didn't, not that I used them. And then we did read the winds. There was no wind. Enough said. So we went to movement. We got Admiral, Navigator and Thunderers out of the boat. And then we disengaged the boat all the way back to here so we could deal with the pesky little soul render that was over here. And the Thunderers were arranged after their little bit of a move as well into such a place. They're all in within 11 inches of the opponent's board edge in their deployment zone, but 3 inches away from the Reavers, and as well not trying to give away too many shots to the Eidolon, as the Idoneth rules for shooting the closest unit is on a model per model basis, so have to be a little bit careful. Over here, Gotrek moved towards the fighty part of the Eidolons and his heroic king, Angelina, I believe he's called.
He is indeed.
So we went off on shooting, so we'll go back over here because Gotrek doesn't have a shooting attack. We started with the frigate, shooting the Soulrender. He took 2 very square cannon shots to the face. God bless his soul, but he died. Didn't know they had souls anyway, but hey.
He died doing what he loved, taking cannonballs to the face.
The Navigator and the Thunderers targeted the Reavers, apart from one Thunderer who was closer to the Eidolon, so he turned his gun on him. And the Admiral had to put his gun into the Eidolon. Now the Admiral had, just before the Thunderers had fired, given them all grudge breaker rounds for the turn, given an additional -1 rend, which proved effective, considering the absolute brilliance of his ward saves. Just where were they last turn?
Well, if I'd rolled those dice that I used to save for the attacks of the turtle, there'd be a rusted pile of metal on the table here where Craig's boat used to be.
It'd be a very different scape. Very different. In the end, though, the shooting left 1 Reaver, so the Thunderers charged in to deal with this little threat. Also getting close to the boat, as we know they like to keep their boat safe. Past that, Gotrek made an 8-inch charge on a 9, and then Gotrek did Gotrek. So he put his attacks into the Akhelian King first and didn't kill it. Then thought, you know what, let's do this again.
Well, what he actually did was all the damage he did was with the D6 to do D6 mortal wounds.
4 sixes on the hit rolls.
On the first round of attacks, he only got 1 6, but Craig rolled a 6, so he took 6 mortal wounds and he doesn't have a ward save. He'd saved everything else. So then, just to finish him off, he had 1 wound left. Craig rolled 4 6s.
We didn't even add up the mortals. We just knew that was it.
You only needed 1.
This is true. This is true. Unfortunately, though, because we got out of our boat and we were messing around with these objectives, the fountains went off. And fortunately, my Navigator had just snipped off the objective. Otherwise, he could have been dead. But the
Eidolon took 1.
I took 1 on the Admiral, but the Thunderers took a full 3. So they passed their battle shock. But we're now going to see how much we can make Adam scream. Now I'm up to 1310.
Well, this will decide how quickly we go to the conclusion, really, won't it?
I'm pretty sure you said that last time.
Is that cocked?
No.
Really? Can't we just end it? I'll take the turn if you say that's not cocked.
A bit more enthusiasm, please.
Yeah, enthusiasm. I remember that. Plop, indeed.
Just like you remember happiness.
So, turn 4, we retreat and charge this turn. But really was struggling for battle tactics, especially with only 2 models left. So, I thought I'll go for Magical Mayhem, try and kill this guy, who I've already tried to kill once, who's already denied me a battle tactic. As you can see, he's still there. Magical Mayhem is kill him with a spell. I can only do a maximum of 6 mortal wounds with spells, and Craig did me the honour of healing him before I started my turn. So I had to do 5 wounds with my potential. It's 2d3 mortal wounds basically from my spells, but it would have involved charging in with an arcane bolt in my hand and getting Cloying Sea Mists off. So when Craig decided to stop Cloying Sea Mists, I decided to Steed of Tides over there. with a Mystic Shield.
Run away.
Sharky, meanwhile, far more brave. He used his retreat and charge ability to retreat and charge back into Gotrek. And we can see how that went, because Sharky now resides over here. He had a good go. He did
3 wounds.
3 wounds to
And I didn't get any mortals back off
didn't
on you.
get any mortal wounds, but twice he did 12 wounds. And Sharky saved 6 of them the first time, but not enough the second time. And off he went. So I think we're probably going to go to conclusion. And if we're not, then that daughter's army is getting it.
Conclusion time, folks. Well, wasn't that fun?
Brilliant.
Jen, you had a really great time. I really got you.
What went wrong?
Oh, it's cold in here. Is it? I feel like it's really cold here.
Just so
Is
about
that-
outside
it's about- oh, yeah, it's like cold, warmer, hot. Cold, warmer, freeze. So, well, turn 1.
That was good.
That was good.
Well, we trickled forward.
Trickled forward. There was the tide. Even though you completely forgot that you were in the tide.
I
so
didn't
you get
completely forget.
Okay.
Just for 1 unit.
Which was the one that got shot. But yeah, and then turn 2.
Turn 2 was nice.
Do you want to ask him that? Turn 3.
Less said about turn 3, the better.
And dice.
And dice.
Basically, yes.
Turn 3 and dice. And
The way Deepkin work is you get to turn 3 and you think, right, we're on easy street.
this is it. I've got
The
this now.
game turns on turn 3.
And it did.
Little did I know it turned the wrong way.
Very the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost like
And-
U-turn.
And unfortunately, Kharadron Overlords armies tend to take advantage of when that happens. And they did.
In a really big way.
Yeah.
In
that kind of way.
Well, that kind of.
well.
There we go. At least it wasn't the army that got smashed. It was
No,
just
except the Daughters of Cain have survived again.
That's it from the anger of the elves. So dare I ask if there was a model of the match?
Sharky, hands down, to
And-
be honest. He went and dealt with a boat, and
Yep.
then he came back and he did more wounds to Gotrek in 1 round of combat than the rest of the army did for the whole game.
Yeah, no, he was
So-
very good.
He
was
pulled
good.
a lot of weight, actually.
I mean, he
Yeah.
did then die, but
So did everybody else. But yeah,
the only one that actually lived was the one that started the avalanche of...
Fail. Avalanche of fail.
the avalanche.
Thank you for providing me a word that
Because
was broadcast before 9
in
o'clock.
case you've noticed, we did speed forward a little bit because Adam didn't want to continue at that point, and I favoured the studio staying in one piece. So we fast forwarded and we just went, here, Craig, have some points, and then Captain Smug was happy. he
I was happier.
He was happier that it was over, and so we'd got to this point really because it had just been that moment when, really honestly, we were going to kill 2 units. It wasn't a problem. You really were just going to knock off the navigator. The small boat had died.
So
Everything
now
was
ask
fine.
Craig his model of the match.
And on that point, Craig, Captain Smug, what was your model of the match, mate?
It was the Navigator.
The navigator, the one that denied
He
2
didn't
battle
dive in
tactics.
2 battle tactics. He ran around doing the read the winds, putting half movement on stuff, which forced a bit more force play on the second turn. Wasn't much of an issue, but it was. I need to think about this a bit more. But other than that, he just runs around.
He was part of the surprise boat attack where they charged the Eidolon, and the Eidolon went, and
leads
didn't
out
see
of his
it coming.
stack, just poke.
Yeah, that was it.
And despite the fact Gotrek kind of did a lot of damage and mopped up a lot of stuff, that's what he does. So he's a bit boring on that.
basically
regard,
became
yeah.
an area denial, didn't
Yeah.
he? He sort of went, you're not going to come near this, and Adam went, you're right. But in that sense, took that objective, then went and cleaned up another objective, and then...
I was just trying to work around him, and I think the best way to deal with Gotrek is not to deal with him. But
You either can turn off wards
yeah,
and then kill him, or if you can't do that, like you say, you just...
And you do have the speed for this, I feel.
Yeah.
so I mean, the play was just to leave Gotrek on his own and then go and steal all of Craig's objectives. But
You forgot that bit.
When one flank of the army just decided to live,
Yeah.
that plan had to change to let's all die in a puddle.
A very deep puddle, I feel.
It didn't so much go swoosh
Yeah.
as plop.
Yes.
Really, pretty much. That was pretty much how it finished that. But Well, I hope you enjoyed that, dear viewers, as much as we did. When I say we, there wasn't Adam in
just
it.
us, yeah.
Just us two. And I'm over here. It didn't. Anyway. But there are plenty of other battle reports that you can take a look at. By all means, look at the other times Adam has miserable turns of rolling wands.
This was a game that was like shooting fish in a barrel.
Oh, there we go. I had to get it in there somehow.
There is a previous game between me and Craig where it was more like slapping dwarfs on a hill, and that line gets said in that battle
Yeah,
report.
so by all means,
So go back and watch that one.
I will give you this as credit, though. You did not fail to win priorities, which is normally against me.
I did not fail to win, so I won priorities.
Yes.
the smugness has overtaken words. It's incredible, dear viewers. But should you want to watch Captain Smug and the fish fight yet again, then do join us on another episode of WGTV. Do not forget to like him, comment about him, subscribe to me. That's it. And until next time, bye!